Forget gurus. Forget anyone claiming to be an online business expert without going through the challenges of entrepreneurship themselves. The Real Money, Real Business podcast is here to prove the best insights in online business comes from your fellow online business builders. We dig into stories of entrepreneurs selling their business on the Empire Flippers marketplace so that you can learn how they made their business profitable, how they overcame obstacles, and what lessons they learned in their online journey. If you want to take your business and your knowledge to the next level, you've come to the right podcast. Let's get started.
Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of the Real Money, Real Business podcast. We record these interviews so that potential buyers can learn more about the business and the seller to help them make an informed buying decision. If you would like to learn more about this business, including details like what type of business it is, how much revenue and profit it makes, and all of the assets included with the business, simply visit empireflippers.com/marketplace and search for this business's listing number, which you can find in the video thumbnail and in the description. Or if you're watching this on YouTube, you can click the link in the description to go straight to the listing. So without further ado, let's get into this interview. First up, let's learn a little bit about you. Can you tell us about your background in building and running online businesses?
My first online business that I created in 2015. And ever since then, I've been in quite a few different, agency style businesses, sold my own products outside of Amazon. But this has been one that I keep coming back to because you don't need to create a large social media following or even run paid advertising necessarily to generate a good passive income stream. I realized a couple niches, specifically one was very profitable. And once you develop a good process and create a good product, you can just keep producing books within that niche and continue to provide a good steady source of passive income month in and month out, year after year. So I've kept coming back to this one because it continues to be pretty plentiful and fruitful. But at this point in time, I'm trying to explore new opportunities, explore new business models. I'm hoping somebody else could benefit from this source of income as well and maybe build it into, something even bigger.
Why are you selling the business now instead of keeping it and growing it further?
The reason that I'm selling the business instead of continuing to grow it is because it's kind of actually operated in the background for a few years now, and it's provided a steady income stream. For me personally, I feel like, it's my first business. I put a lot of work into it. I grew it to a certain level, but I think somebody more passionate about this niche and this particular business model could grow it even more. And so for me, I keep coming back to it, but I feel like I just need to sell it to somebody else who can grow it in the right way and move into new ventures entirely. For me, it's kind of like burn the moats. All right, let's start something new. So it's been a great source of income. For me, I'm just ready to start something new and invest the proceeds from this business into a completely different venture.
Can you describe the amount and the type of work that you do on this business to maintain it?
For the particular niche that I'm kind of basing this business around, for the past several years, I haven't put any work into it, and it's continued to provide a good, steady source of income. But if I wanted to grow it, if I was going to get back into it, what I would do essentially is just, work with a copywriter, narrator, a small team to just produce more product. So I try to produce the best quality product, but it also is kind of a numbers game at the same time. So this can be done with a project manager, but for the most part, I didn't do too much active marketing and advertising on it. So if somebody was better at managing that and kind of getting more traffic and eyeballs on the product, that would help it grow a little bit more. But for me, it was mostly just, going through the basic publishing process and trying to split out the risk amongst different platforms. So this was one of my main priorities was, getting out high quality product, saturating a niche, and then ultimately doing that on multiple different platforms, multiple different retailers. And then over time, every product would produce a good ROI, some of them way more than others. But regardless, most of the products would provide an ROI within the first several months to even a year on the low end. And then beyond that, it's just, just pure profit. So it was relatively easy to set up and maintain. It might take a little more work to grow it to levels beyond, but it's definitely doable.
So, if you were to keep this business, what are some of the ways you would try to grow it?
Throughout the years, I've thought of different ways to grow the business that, some of them I didn't completely go all in on, but here are a few of the strategies that I would take. The first one would be to nurture the email marketing list just a little bit more and then split that list into kind of sub niches and subtopics and build up those relationships with customers. And one way is to continue selling them the audiobooks. Another way is to take the audiobooks and put them into your own digital product based on those sub niches. So that's one solution. Also through email, you can build a review list, a VIP list, so that every time you have a new release, you can promote it to that list and get reviews immediately, and usually 4 or 5-star reviews, so that gets you instant traction on the platforms. Another way is to just translate the catalog entirely. So this was something I discovered recently, was that some of my translated Spanish versions were actually producing kind of a nice profit. And so it's minimal cost to translate these books. A lot of it can be done through ChatGPT now with a good process. And then you just need to create the book covers and get the narration done. So that's another solution. And another way would be paid advertising on the box sets or the bigger audiobooks. So those ones produce the most revenue, at least on Amazon. And paid advertising can produce a pretty good ROI if you know what you're doing. Another way that I considered was building up a bigger social media presence and then turning, almost repurposing my audiobooks and all of my content for a higher paying digital product. So there's multiple solutions you can go about it. A lot of them that I didn't really jump into, but somebody a little more savvy could be able to implement those and start producing a better ROI.
Right. And what would you say are the biggest risks with this business that buyers should be aware of?
One of the biggest risks with this business, our businesses of this type, usually is platform risk. So publishers will put all of their eggs in one basket, usually KDP or Amazon or Audible. And then, if they were to get kicked off the platform or banned for any reason, they'll be out of luck. So over time, I've tried to build up my products onto other platforms. So I've split it up into a few different ones. And right now, Audible is about 66% of the revenue. The other platforms are about 33%. And I think it's actually growing now. So it might be closer to 40 or 50. So that alleviates the platform risk just a little bit. The other biggest risk might be that it is kind of a low barrier to entry. That's why I think if you really wanted to grow it, it's a low barrier to entry to produce these products. So if you really wanted to grow it, you would have to put more energy into nurturing the relationships with the customers, but also niching down even further. Because right now, the brands that I have on Amazon are kind of broad, but I think if you, split them up and utilize those products for sub niches and then developed even digital product brands around those, and there's plenty of content to draw from and put into your own digital products, I think that would create a bigger moat around the business. So that's always kind of the question, at least with this product type, is what can I do to make it harder for other competitors to copy me? So those are kind of the biggest risks.
How much support are you willing to offer the buyer who acquires this business?
For buyers, I can provide 30 days of email and call support. So, after the initial buy, I can kind of show you around all of the files where everything is located, including the Airtable. Before the purchase is complete, I'll make sure that everything is in its right spot, and I'll show you how to kind of navigate everything. I'll provide you the contact information for all of my previous freelancers. Some of them have moved on a little bit, but beyond that, I can provide 30 days of support. And if there's any pressing needs or you can't find anything, I'll be able to get it to you within, let's say 48 hours or so. It's a relatively easy business to get into, especially if you're familiar with it. I can provide basic support unless something more extensive is needed.
Got it. And regarding the sale of the business, would you agree to a non-compete?
Yes, I can confirm that I will commit to the non-compete, especially the niche that is the most profitable. I won't produce any more products. After the sale is complete, I'll be completely out of that. I won't use any of that data to produce any competing products or have anything to do with that niche. It's possible that I might start a publishing business down the line. We can come to that agreement, but it would be in a completely different niche, completely different product, and it would not be competing with the main niches that this business is built on.
Are you open to negotiating something like an earn-out agreement?
Because of the price of this business, which is pretty low, I'm looking primarily for cash upfront offers. But, if I'm not able to achieve that, then I might be open to an earn-out payment structure. But generally, I would prefer cash upfront.
Okay, final question. If you had to put yourself in the shoes of a buyer, why is your business a business worth buying?
I think this is a business worth buying because if you look at the past 3 to 4 years of revenue, you'll see that I didn't have pretty much any outgoing costs outside of the initial product creation and publishing. So it's continued to provide a good source of passive income. So whether you decide to grow it or not is your choice. But regardless, I think, based on the track record here, it's a relatively low risk buy. Beyond that, I think, if you're considering buying an Amazon related or publishing related business, I put in the work to kind of split out the risk so that all of the revenue isn't completely based on one platform. And so, with this type of business, you're not 100% dependent on Audible. Last time I checked, it was about 66% came from Audible, 33% was from other retailers. But I think my most recent numbers are showing that now it's probably 40% plus is coming from other platforms. And that's split up between Audible and a few other ones. The platform risk is kind of alleviated there. But there's also a giant catalog to work with and relaunch with proper book launches. And I think a lot of this old catalog can be mined again. And there's a lot of value to be unlocked there, as well as email lists and product that can be translated. The foundation is already set for somebody who knows how to grow these types of businesses. But even if you didn't want to grow it, it still has a proven track record of producing a good source of passive income every month with pretty much no additional work up front.
All right, everyone. Thanks for listening. To learn more and see if this business is still for sale, head over to empireflippers.com/marketplace and search for this business listing number, which you can find in the video thumbnail and description. Or if you're watching this on YouTube, click the link in the description to go straight to the listing. Once you've unlocked this listing, you'll find everything you need to know about this business. So, thanks for joining us. See you next time.